Hey, this is Hammer Geek, and I was going to reply to Personal Radish's comment here in the Elliott Wave Lab Reddit subreddit. And, it's great, first of all, Radish, that you're reading the book. And I'll tell you, I do not claim to be an expert. I am someone who is still learning myself. So I encourage anyone, if I say something wrong or leave something out, feel free to comment. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm here to learn. And I've found so much value in the Frost and Pritchard book and a few other things. But, Radish says, he's been unprofitable or break even. I've been there. I know what you're talking about. And Elliott Wave have helped me so much. And so I was working on a reply, but I thought I'd add a video on here as well to basically talk about the one thing right here is measuring templates. This has been super, super helpful for me because it just really clarifies what I'm looking at. Like, I've got a trading Elliott pattern notes. And so these are notes that I've taken from reading the Frost and Pritchard book, a few other little notes that I've gathered from other what I would call trusted resources. One of those I can tell you is Jeffrey Kennedy. He's been trading for 30 years. He's been a professor of economics and stuff. So, this guy is not in here just for a razzle dazzle, try to make some money off people trading and selling, trading strategies or whatever. I'm not selling indicators. I'm not selling strategies. I'm not selling anything. I'm just here to learn, and I thought a community of doing that would be a good way to do that. But anyway, so I've got these notes, and I can't remember. I think maybe Jeffrey Kennedy said this, or somebody is like, but if you can't count it, don't trade it. And so I've keep that at the top of my notes as a rule. But so for all these like wave structures and zigzags and flats and stuff like that, they have measurements that help you know whether or not you're kind of in the ballpark. Now, the measurements, for the most part, are guidelines, so don't take them as strong, hard, harsh, like, no kidding, this is the way it's got to be. I've got this red line here, Radish, because that's where that trade is that I referenced in my post. I'm going to try to keep this short, but I'm sure this is going to be in a 10-minute video. But, so this is this is Pump Fun. This is a trash coin that I don't think will be around for a while. But, it's something that's got some volatility. I think, there's obviously some money to be made because I made some good trades on it. But it's not the only thing I trade. So I want to stick with the subject here, and that is templates. So, for example, Wave 2. Wave 2 has a common retracement level. And so I can go to my fib tracement tool, go to the top of one, or the origin of one, down to the end of Wave 1, and then I can select my template that I call Wave 2 retracement. Click, boom. There's the Wave 2 retracement zone. Again, it's a guideline. It's not a harsh rule. The only rule is that Wave 2 cannot go beyond the origin of Wave 1. So if here's the origin of Wave 1. As long as Wave 2 doesn't go above that orange line, then it still potentially is a Wave 2. Does it mean 100% no kidding, it absolutely is a Wave 2? No, unfortunately. And that's what makes like trading Wave 3s, the end of Wave 2 and going into Wave 3s, a little more difficult, because there's always the possibility that this could, let's say we're coming out of an uptrend. I don't know what it looked like before here, but this could be a correction. This could be an A, B, C. I don't know how far C will go, and then it's off to the races again. So how do you know the difference between a 1-2 and an A, B? You kind of sometimes don't. So anyway, that's some. So there's Wave 2. Again, I want to stick with these templates here. Wave 4. Wave 4 tends to retrace a certain amount of Wave 3. So if I go to the beginning of Wave 3 to the end of what I'm pretty sure is Wave 3, and I go over here and I select Wave 4 retracement, 382 to a half. Now, this is what I think is Wave 4 over here to the right that I don't have shown. Hey, look at that. it went right into that zone and then started going back down again. So that gives me some confidence on, yeah, I think that's a wave 4. Now we got to remember too that inside these waves there are smaller waves, right? So like I have my stuff collected here together. I try to use the terms that Frost and Pritchard use as far as the different degrees. Like I've got primary as this yellow. Primary is like kind of generally, I got this thing here that says like sort of, it's not locked into this time frame, but sort of 4-hour-ish time zone. Time doesn't matter as much as, you know, you got a big one and you got a little one under it and a little one under, those are sub degrees, right? And so under that I've got the gold or orange colored. I see it looks like I got a couple of waves doubled up in there. But you know, there's an ABC for 2 and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 3, and then this really long wave 4, right, that I was looking at. So, you know, I was like, okay, here's a regular flat followed by a zigzag followed by a regular flat. Now this actually isn't the trade, because you can see I'm not at the trade till over here. So let me turn off yellow to make this a little less noisy. Let me get rid of some of these duplicate. What do we got going on here? Hold on just a second. Okay, I see it was. Again, you're kind of working with probabilities and you're working with theories until they prove themselves. So right here, I had a regular flat, then I had a zigzag, and then I had another zigzag. So this was a complex correction. I think I had it marked in with the yellow with this WXY like that. Now technically, the WXY would be orange, and then the flat, zigzag, and flat would be the next level down, which would be a minor degree, which I have blue, but we're not going to get into that. So then right here, before this trade, I've got a theory. I've got 2 theories here. I've got one that says, you know, maybe this is another zigzag, right? Or maybe it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I don't know at the time. You know, at the time I'm looking at it like this. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this other zigzag because I know it's not at this point, right? And so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I'm looking here. I'm actually inside of this correction. So let me zoom into the 5-minute. Find our spot here. Where are we at? Okay, there's where the trade is. And then let me turn on blue. So blue's the next level down. I counted wave 1 as a diagonal, as like an expanding diagonal. I wasn't in love with it, I'll tell you. The expanding diagonals, I'm not in love with. I mean, they happen. They're pretty rare, so that's why I'm kind of like, I don't know, but so I've got this correction sequence going on here, and this is the one that gave me that trade. So again, I want to stick with measurements here. There's lots of other things. I'll probably make some more videos just to show you what I'm learning. But let's see, which call outs are these? Yeah, okay, this helps me. So a regular flat. So a regular flat, B has a retracement level that's kind of expected from A. So again, same thing. I use a fib retracement from the origin of A to the end of A, and then I've got 3 right here. So here's correction zigzag, correction flat, regular, or correction flat, an expanded flat, or running flat, right? Because they have the same numbers, right? So I can click this and go, all right, well, a zigzag can retrace anywhere in there. Okay, expanded or running is going to go all the way down there. How about just a regular flat? Oh, look at that, a regular flat. This hits the retracement of a regular flat. So I'm probably looking at, as I have labeled here, I'm probably looking at a regular flat. Well, there's 3 parts to a regular flat. There's an A, a B, and a C. So we've got kind of like the relationship between A and B, but what about C? Where do we, let's say we're sitting over here, right? We don't know how far C is going to go yet, right? So we can take our projection tool, or trend-based fib extension, and so we go from the origin of A to the end of A. So we're measuring the length of A, and then we're going to project that value, that length of A, from the end of B. We're going to put that right there. And then I'm going to select, so we think this is a regular flat. So I'm going to go over here, and I've got some more templates for this. correction, flat, expanded, flat, regular, flat, running, or zigzag. So I think this is a regular flat. So let me click that. Granted, a huge retracement is like anywhere in there, but now I've got two. If it turns around inside this zone, then I've got two connecting measurements based on this information that tells me that yes, this is a regular flat. It meets the requirements of a regular flat. Okay, so let me get rid of those. And so I was sitting there watching this, and all of this mess over here started happening, right? I didn't have any of it labeled at the time. I just saw this blah, 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 and then like this shoot up that happened right here, and then this other shoot up. I'm like, what is going on? So I kind of zoomed out a little bit. I was probably looking at the 1 minute or something, and I saw this, I was like, that kind of looks like a zigzag. I mean, really looks like a zigzag. So what do? Well, let's measure it. So we'll go get our fib tool, go to from the origin of A to the bottom of A, click my templates, and go to, where is it? Correction zigzag. Boom. B comes very, very close. And again, this is not rules. This is, the guidelines. So close in my book is good enough. And then I'm going to project the other thing. So I'm going to do the length of A, and I'm going to project that from the end of B, and I'm going to come down here and I'm going to select my zigzag correction, which I think it's already on, which is, there's this. So I've got this kind of 1 to 1.05 just to create a little channel. That's the typically in a zigzag, wave C is the same length, or really, really close to the same length as wave A. But this whole region is acceptable. That's acceptable measurements for a zigzag. So I can take those off now. It's like, all right, doing good. Oh, what's this other thing? Well, I don't know. I got it measured as a zigzag. And sometimes zigzags are pretty, like this one. This is beautiful. Beautiful lightning bolt shape. That's the textbook zigzag. But sometimes you get this like, oh, it's somebody that just got beat up at the farm. I don't know what happened to them. But again, let's not go with looks. Let's go with measurements. So we can measure A, put our retracement on zigzag. I'm going to do it just because we already know it's a zigzag because I've already measured this. And like, okay, well, there it is. Now let me show you the other ones. Let's say, is it potentially an expanded flat or a running flat? No, because the retracement zone reversal is way down there. Is it possibly a regular flat? Oh, it could be, because it's getting close, and in my book, close is typically good enough. But if I go to the zigzag, it's definitely in there. So I would take that as like, okay, it's probably a zigzag. Again, we've got A and B sort of sorted out. Let's see the relationship of C, and that'll be the good determiner. B right there, and I have this on zigzag, and so it reverses right there in that what I call my little sweet spot zone, and then it reverses. Well, that is where this red line here is where I took that position. That is, I think it's this one. Yeah, that I took this position right there. So as far as, in your question, you asked about strategies, but this is where I'm saying having these templates really, really help me, because if this is starting to look like a zigzag, A and B are like, ooh, that's pretty close to a zigzag, and then C starts turning around, and then you also see that I have marked here RSI divergence. So I can go ahead and turn on my RSI and show you that. It doesn't hold the lines when I draw them, but so this green line here, right? Price is moving up, but what is happening in RSI? We're making lower highs. So that to me was a reason to get in, and so as it started to drop, I got in, and then I just kind of rode, and I watched RSI until I think right here till I got a divergence going the opposite way. So we're getting lower lows right here on that blue line. And then right about here, those buttons are going to be in the way. We got ever so slightly a divergence going up, and I was like, that's enough for me. It may have been somewhere else around here. I was probably on the 1 minute. But anyway, that's how that trade worked. So as far as, again, you asked about, wow, look at the mess on that. Let me turn all this off. Like I said, I try to keep these grouped because it helps me click. Now almost all that stuff's off. And I like to start with this blank, like I have a blank template. It has nothing but price action. And so I try to use that for drawing my initial my initial stuff, because it just helps me to not get caught up in all these other things that could be going on or might be going on. I just want to look at price action. I just want to look at price action and see if it is going, or if I see anything. I think Jeffrey Kennedy said this one time. Look at the chart, and do you see anything that looks like it might be something you recognize? Do you see something that might be a pattern you recognize? And sometimes when things get weird, like this, somewhere in here, I can't remember where, there was the FOMC meeting, Jerome Powell speaking at whatever that place was, Buffalo something, or I can't remember what it was called. But Jerome Powell spoke, and he hinted that they might be reducing interest rates at the next FOMC meeting in September, and price just took off. Remember, one of the things in the Frost and Pritchard book talks about a completely free economy, a free market will behave with the Elliott wave pattern. But we don't live in a 100% free market. We have all these other outside influences. News influences are one of them. Government influences as far as controlling and changing interest rates are another. But the point being that outside influences can throw things ajar. But I have found that the Elliott wave patterns still tend to play out very well. But anyway, when I get confused, I just zoom way, way, way out. I can get rid of this now. That was for you and for me to find it again. You can zoom way, way out and just ask yourself, what do I see here? What do I see? Again, if I turn yellow back on, that's not yellow, that's the gold, orange. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, and, it doesn't matter where 4 is. I just put it there. I think that's 4. And my thought is 5 is going to go down here. Now 5 can truncate sometimes. It can go less than 3. It doesn't have to go as deep as 3. So this could be a truncated 5. That's allowed. That's possible. That makes trading wave 5 harder, right? But again, I was really trading in here, if I remember right. I think I was trading wave 4 of 5. That makes sense. So inside 5, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Inside 3, right? If I turn on the gold, right, here's yellow wave 3 has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern in it, and then I could zoom in on this gold wave 3, and there's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern, and I could zoom into the 1 minute, and inside there, right? These things are just like circles within a circle within a circle kind of stuff. But anyway, I hope that's helpful. Again, this is getting long-winded here, but the biggest thing really just being create some measurement tools, give them names for specific situations. If you're looking for a zigzag, you're trying to verify, is this a zigzag? Is this a flat? What's the wave 2? What's the wave 4 retracement expectations? And then know where to draw them. I need to change my 2 and 4. But if you see here, correction, zigzag, wave B, reversal zone, and then I have this O-A. That means when I draw this, I am going to draw it. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to draw it from the origin to the end of wave A. That's what that O-A means. And if you look on these projected ones, this will be the last thing, I'll let you go. On these projected ones, you're going to have 3 points, right? You're going to have an origin, wave A, and then you're going to plot it from wave B or something like that. I have those written as well. See these correction, you kind of can't see them in here, but like this one, O-A, comma B. That means I'm going to go from the origin of A to the end of A, and then I'm going to project or plot it at the end of wave B, which is what I just demonstrated there. I got triangle stuff. I got a few other things. These are actually old. I'm not really, oh no, I am using the, fib extension. So I can have a target here for wave 5. And I got to work on the wording here because I don't remember exactly, but I think if wave 3 is very close to 1, very close to the same length as wave 1, 1.0 of wave 1, then wave 5, I'm going to measure from the origin of wave 1 to the end of wave 3 and project that from 4. If wave 3 hits 1618 or more, then I'm going to go 0 to 1 and go and project that from 4 because, again, this is going to the rules and the guidelines and stuff. if wave 3 is extended, and if it's extended 1.618 is expected, and at least, and wave 3 is typically extended, then wave 5 tends to approximate the same length as wave 1, right? So that means I'm going to take the length of wave 1 from the origin of 1 to the end of 1, and then I'm going to project that length from the end of 4. And that'll tell me how far wave 5 should go. So I hope that helps. If you got more questions, I'll make another video. This is already 20 minutes long, but that's how some of those tools work, and they are super helpful for me, because I can look at something again and go, I think that looks like a zigzag. I think that looks like this. I think that looks like that. And let me use this tool to help. And you can even measure things. There's so much to talk, because the truth is Elliott wave is complicated. Let me leave. I'm going to leave with this last thing. Sorry. Let me turn these off. Let's say you don't know. Is this wave 1 or is this wave A? Well, I could take my fib. I think I already did this one, right? Go from the origin to what I think is the end of wave 1. And then I'll say wave 2 retracement. All right, a little bit past that. Okay. What if it's a correction? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Where would a zigzag turn around? Kind of that same area, so it could still be a zigzag. Where would a flat turn around? Kind of in that area. Maybe it is still a flat. Where would an expanded array? Okay, it's nowhere close to that. That's way up there, right? So it is still possible. It could be a flat. It could be a zigzag. Well, how do we know? Well, the only way to know is let it play out. So you can take the length of your first wave, whether that's an A or that's a 1, and project it from the end here. And so our choices are what? Zigzag, flat, regular flat, zigzag, regular flat, or wave 3. So if it is a regular flat, then it should turn around here, and you look at that, go, oh, it did. Oh, no. Oh, no, it didn't. It kept going. Okay. So you could potentially come up with a strategy that says, hey, if you see price exiting this zone, and maybe it's doing so at a place that is creating a correction, then you could trade that correction at the end. What if is it a zigzag? No, it's definitely not a zigzag, because it blew right through that and just kind of kept going. So it's not a flat, it's not a zigzag. So we're like, okay, well then, where would wave? Let's see, what am I looking at? So I know it's not a zigzag. I know it's not a correction. Basically, at this point, I can say it's not a correction. It's got to be something else. Well, I guess I could do a wave 3 target. Let's do that one. And then you go, okay, well, I need to recolor these because I'm not in love with them. It definitely passed the 1618 line. So again, wave 3s tend to be extended. Here's 2 618s down there, so it's somewhere in the middle. If I wanted to go in here and turn on, let's see, where's 2? It's longer than 2. Maybe some of these don't matter, but maybe it's 2. I always forget the number. Is it 382? Oops. Let's make that 2382. No, it's not quite 2382 either. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but it's longer than 1618. I mean, that's what it's longer. It's at least twice as long as wave 1. I would call that an extended wave 3, or at least just wave 3 is longer. It can't be the shortest wave. So that puts me in this, like, okay. And then the other thing, good grief, there's so much to talk about. The other thing is, so the trend here is down. And notice the sharpness of this. If you had to draw a clock, you know, this is 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. This is noon and 6. See how we're almost, you know, straight down. Let's see, this would be 90, so this would be 180 straight down. We're probably in the 160s degrees, or we're past. You know, we got 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're in the neighborhood of 5 o'clock as far as a direction this is going. But then look at this move. This move is looking more, same thing. If we did a vertical line, that's a terrible vertical line, and we did a clock, you know, we're kind of in the, you know, 12, 1, 2, 3. We're kind of in the 2 o'clock. It's close. See how it's like closer to 3? So it's like if you're getting something that's more, hugging, not sideways, but it's kind of in this more narrow zone, it's probably corrective. If it's sharper, whether it's going up or down, it's probably impulsive. That's a good rule to me. So I look at things all the time. I see these big moves, and I see these kind of weird diagonal things. And I go, I don't know what, even glancing at this, I'm like, I don't know what's going on there, but it's probably corrective. Where's the low spot? Here's the low spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe, and that would work, right? 1, 2, 3, a corrective wave. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this would be a connecting. So this would be a W, X, Y, corrective structure. Is this my trade? No, my trade's down here on a smaller time zone. But either way, I mean, you get the gist here. So again, last thing here, let's measure this wave 4 retracement, right? So if we're going, okay, we're pretty sure now we're willing to label this 1, 2, get rid of this measurement tool, 1, 2, 3. If this is the origin of 3 and the end of 3, what's the expected retracement of wave 4? End of 3, or beginning of 3 to the end of 3. Click on my template, wave 4, bam, right on it, right in that zone. And if it was close, it'd be good enough for me. So I hope that's helpful. Again, my notes help me. I'll just show you this one. I'm not giving away notes. I think you need to make your own notes, but I'll just show you this, my wave 4 notes. If I go down to wave 4 here, here's my rules and guidelines, right? These are from the Pritchard book. Wave 4 always subdivides into a zigzag, flat, triangle, or a combination, right? Wave 4 never moves beyond the end of wave 1, which it didn't. You got almost always a different corrective pattern than wave 2. That's what I was talking about on the post, on the reply being the guideline of alternation. Meaning, if wave 2 is a simple 3 pattern, then the wave 4 will typically be different. So if wave 2 is a simple zigzag, then wave 4 will probably just be a flat or a combination, right? But it probably won't be a zigzag. And zigzags tend to happen in 2 more than not. Wave 4 tend to be longer. You see all this stuff, right? But then here's these measurements, right? Wave 4, the wave 4 tends to retrace 0.382 of wave 3 or half of wave 3. That's where this measurement, right? 0.382 or 0.5. That's where that measurement comes from. So I'm taking those rules, making templates. This is a long video to say that, but I hope this is helpful. If you got any questions, by all means ask. I'm not saying I'll always know the answer, but I'll tell you what I think, and I'll try to base what I think off of Frost and Pritchard and or any other Ellioticians that I say I would hold in high regard. Like I mentioned, Jeffrey Kennedy. He's really good too. Anyway, hope this is helpful. Long video. Take it easy.